Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Cynthia. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful gown you're seeing here and with the gong sleeve. Okay, so if today is your first time of coming to this channel, you're very welcome, and please sit back and make sure you watch the video to the end. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. All right, so yeah, just hit the class right away. I'm going to start up with the upper bodice, okay? I have my fabric laid down, folded into two. I'll be starting with the front part. And now the first thing I'm going to get is my bust point. Um, all right, so I have my bust points marked. And then the next is the underbust at 16.5. And then I'll be adding 3 inches for my waistline. I won't be adding another allowance because the from the distance I have to my from my shoulder to my underbust is high, so I won't be adding much allowance to it. So I'll be taking my shoulder at 17 inches divided by 2. We have 8.5, and then so I have my waistline, my underbust. I want to mark the line so that it can be very visible. So this is my bust point. Okay, and then I have my armhole line. And so I'm going to connect my shoulder to my armhole, and then I'll insert my armhole curve. So the next we are going to get is our nipple to nipple line. The bust I'm working with is bust of 49. So the nipple to nipple line I'll be using is 5 inches. Okay, that's the bust span separation. I'll be using 5 inches. I'll connect the 5 inches to touch the bust points, and then I'll just connect the two lines together. I'll take my dart on the other side or with 2 inches, and then inside I'll take 1 inch. And so I'll just connect the line to meet the underbust line. I took it from the waistline to meet the underbust line. That's the dot line. So I'll come down with 1.5 inch because I'm working with for a plus size. So I'll connect it. You can use a curve ruler for this. And then with this, I'll do a freehand. I just try to make it look what? Curve. So use your French curve, use your pattern master, whichever one you have. Okay, so now I am going to connect it to what my armhole because I'm making a princess dart. So now I'll take 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll connect my armhole round. The armhole round I'm working with is 23 divided by 2. We have 11.5. So I'm going to insert my armhole round. So half of my armhole is 11.5. I just inserted it. So now I'm going to get a quarter of my armhole. 11.5 divided by 2, so I should have around 5.75. So that is it there. So I'm going to connect it from that point to that new bust point with a curve, okay? Please, if you have a French curve or any curve ruler you can use. I couldn't find mine, so I had to do it that way. I'm actually cutting this cloth at the workshop, all right? So now I took 1 inch from that upper side, that armhole side. I came down with 1 inch. You can see the 1 inch there. So I'm going to connect the 1 inch to the bust, very close to the bust point, so that it can give shape on that area. Remember, we don't want budging on the armhole area. That's why I had to curve that. All right. So once I curve it, I'll take 1 inch outwardly from the armhole, and then I'll connect my new armhole line. Okay, so I've connected my new armhole. So that is it. Now I'm going to get the neck part. Okay, I'm supposed to get the neck part, so I'm using 8 inches forwards my neck. Remember, it's going to be a V neck. Then here I'll be using 4 inches, 8 inches for my deep, then 4 inches for my width. So I was supposed to connect straight, but I'm going to make something like a sweetheart on the lower part. Okay, I made a mistake there. It was supposed to be a sweetheart on the lower part, and then I connect my what? My neckline. But I'm going to correct this. I'll correct this. I'm going to correct it, please. So I'll connect my sweetheart now. This is how I connected it. So I connected my sweetheart, and then I came in with 3 inches. From that place, that ruler is I came in with 3 inches and I connected it to the wall, to the shoulder. This was what I was supposed to do. So don't mind the first thing I did there. So I'm canceling that first one. So you see what I did there. I came in with 3 inches, then I connected it to the what? To meet the what? To the shoulder. Please make sure yours have a little sweetheart in what? In front. So now I'm taking my measurement. The bust I'm working with is 49. My divided by 4, I have 12.25. Then the under bust is 43 divided by 4, I have 10.75. So I'll just take my measurements, and then I insert my DAT allowance, and then with the highest measurement I'll just connect towards the upper side. I'll using the highest measurement I have there. So I'll just connect it, and then we cut it off, and we're supposed to do the lower body. So let's just do the lower bodies, then we do the back side. So right now, from my shoulder to my hip, I'll be using 6 inches. But the gown I'm working with is 49 inches. It's not long. You can see the gown here. It's not a long gown, it's a three-quarter gown. So I'll be using 49 inches for my gown length. So that's 49 inches. Then the hip, I'll be using 26 inches for the what? For the length. So I'll make the line look visible, and then we continue. I'm trying to bring the camera close so that you can see it for very clearly. So as we proceed, I'm going to take my waist measurements, okay? Take my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 45. I divided it by 4, and then I should have around 11.25. But then I decided to make my lines look very visible, okay? So I try to make the line look visible. So I added 1 inch on that part after the 49 inches. All right, now we are going to insert the waist measurement. The waist measurement, like I said, is 45 inches. Divided by 4, we have 11.25. So I'll mark my waist measurement. I'll mark 1 inch for my dart. It's going to have a dart. And then 3 inches for my what? My allowance. Then I'll come to the hip part. The hip I'm working with is 53. I think so. So sorry, 54. So divided by 4, I have 13.5. I added this, I did that, I added my 13.5 with 3 inches. Then I'll connect it to my what? To my waist. So once I do that, whatever I have, I'll be minusing 2 inches from it, okay? So 13.5 plus 3 inches, that is 16.5. So I have a total of 16.5 there for my hip with the allowance. Now I'll be minusing 2 inches from the 16.5. So I should have around 14.5. So I'm going to insert the 14.5 on the lower part, and then I'll connect with my what? With my long ruler. Okay, so I've connected it. So I'll just go ahead and do the cutting. I'll cut out the skirt part, and I'll cut out the upper bodies. I will use it to trace out my back part. So once I was done with cutting out the fabric, I'm going to separate the upper bodies from the lower bodies. Remember, it's not cut together. So I'll separate the skirt part from the upper side, and then place my fabric and I was supposed to cut the front part, but because I have not traced out my back part, so I'll just leave it and use it to trace out my my back part. Then I'll show you how to do this cutting so that you won't get what confused. So I'm just cut this neck part, this armhole area. I won't cut everything, okay? I'll just cut it. Remember how we cut our princess dart? If you're confused on what I just did there, I'll be putting a link below on how to make a princess dart so that you see the cutting properly. All right, now I've placed a new fabric to cut out what my back part. I added 2 inches for my zipper allowance. So I want to trace out the back part from the front part. So I'll open up the zipper area. I'll slit it open. I'll open it up. And once I open it up, I'll just keep the fabric aside and continue with what with the upper body. Sorry, I had to use that key to hold my work together so that it will stop flying away. All right, now I'm going to cut out the back side first, following that first initial line. Remember the first initial line we did? So I'll just go through it so that I can trace out what the back. So I'll separate the front and the back and I'll cut out the dart. The back doesn't have that. There's how we cut our princess dart. We'll be putting the link below so that you go and watch the one that I did it very slow so that you understand what I did here. All right, I have a video. I have about 3 or 4 videos on how to do princess dart here. So I'm going to cut that one out. All right. So once I was done with this part, I'm going to use this to trace out what the back part. Now you're going to make, you can see you're going to allow that area touch the front part. Make sure it's touching. So from there I'm going to what make sure that the back part and the front is what is equal, very equal. If you don't do this, by the time you're joining your two clothes together, front and the back, you discover that the back is usually bigger. So that's why I did that, so that the two of them can be what can be equal. Now for the back part, I also want a V-neck for my back part. I'll come down with 10 inches, okay? I'll come down with 10 inches. This is how to put your V-neck on your back part. Now watch what I will do there. I'll come down with 10 inches and I'll mark a straight line to finish that zipper allowance I collected. And then I will mark the same line I have for the front. Remember, the neck width was 4 inches. That was what I collected there. So I'm going to connect it this way. Not actually V, but there's a straight line. You can see how I did it, okay? So you just go straight this way and then you bend over. All right? I hope you understand what I did there, all right? Okay, so that's how you do your V-neck for the back part, especially if you are using what? A zip. Okay, so I'm going to open up the what? The back part. So once I'm through with the back part, I'm going to finish up with the front part. Now you're going to pay a very good attention on that front part so that you see how I did that neck part. Now I'm supposed to cut outwards the yoke. Now watch what I will do. You first of all cut out the yoke. Remember, it's going to have a sweetheart neck. I went in with 3 inches. I'm going to explain it now. Now, so that you won't get confused on how I got it. Now, I'm going to take my tape and measure it so that you see it was 3 inches I took. Now, from that place to that V, you see, it was 3 inches I took there. So I connected it to my shoulder and I'm going to cut it out. I'll open it up so that you see exactly what I did there. All right, now this is how it is. So I'm sure it's looking like exactly what you have on what? On the picture. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so that's how to cut it. Now, once we are through with this, I'm going to make what? The sleeve. All you need for the sleeve is a basic what sleeve. Make sure your basic pattern is what ready. If you don't know how to cut a basic sleeve, I'll be putting the link what below. All right, so I just remembered that the front that I didn't cut it, so I'm going to trace it out so that it won't affect our work. So just cut your own. Please don't forget like the way I did. I almost forgot. All right, once we are through with this, I'll just go ahead and then do my sleeve. You can see the sleeve we have here on this cloth. You see how beautiful the sleeve is looking. So I'm showing you how to do that. So first of all, grab yourself a new pattern paper, draft out what a basic sleeve. So I've drafted out what the basic sleeve. I folded my fabric into 4. You can see it's folded into four here, and I have a what? A basic what? Sleeve. The other sleeve of my what? Of my client. So I'm going to measure out 10 inches. Yeah, I'll measure out 10 inches and we'll mark it, and then I'll take the line down. And so once I mark 10 inches, I'll take the line down, and then I'll place what? My basic sleeve. So that's 10 inches I collected there. So I'll use my ruler, I'll mark it what? Down. Now for the length of the sleeve, I'm using 14 inches for my sleeve length. You can decide to go as high as 15, or depend on what you want. So this is, so you see how I placed it. Remember, it's, you start from the folded area, okay? You take your 10 inches from the folded part. So I'm going to trace out what? The sleeve. I'll trace it out. I'll use my chalk to what? To trace out what? The sleeve from that 10 inches, okay? All right, so now I'm trying to trace out what? The sleeve. And make sure your sleeve has its allowance. Make sure the basic sleeve you cut has what? A sleeve allowance. Make sure all your allowance is intact. So I'll come down with an extra 1 inch, because I discovered that the sleeve was just 13. So I wanted it to be 14 inches. So I came down with extra 1 inch. So I'll just connect that way. Okay, so that my sleeve will be straight out of now. So this is it. This is how it should look like. I'm trying to trace it well so that it should look good. So now I'm going to what? Cut it. Now note that line, note that straight line, that 10 inches. Once you are through with cutting, you're going to notch that area so that when you are joining, you will know where you are joining, you will know where to gather from. Please don't forget. Okay, 10 inches. So you're going to cut it out. So just cut out, and then that will be all right. So if you've not subscribed on this channel, please do, because the more you do, the more YouTube will recommend our videos to other what YouTuber who are yet to what know about us. So once we are through with cutting out this, we'll be drawing the curtain here. um this is a cutting aspect. I had to divide the video into two so that you understand it better. Okay, so if this tutorial was very helpful, please don't forget to like, don't forget to share our video, and please don't forget to watch to subscribe. Okay, so I will finish my cutting, and then we'll be wrapping it up here. In the part 2 of this video, I'll be uploading it on Saturday. Please, I forgot to say, we now upload videos 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Saturdays. So by Saturday, I'll be uploading the sewing aspect. This is a cutting, so please keep sharing, keep liking, and keep recommending us. Okay, and so I'm going to see you again in my next class.